Hi there folks, happy Friday and TGIF, the weekend is very close. Let's have a look at the currency pair of the euro versus the Norwegian crown. I already made two clips about that, and let's call it something like an update. Before we start into the chart technical part, let me just invite you to be a member of this channel. It's very easy, just have a click on the link just underneath here and be a part of it. Very much appreciated if you leave some thumbs up as well after you watch that kind of a clip. So before we go into fundamentals, let's check the chart technical part right now. Alright guys, besides the fundamental stuff, let's have a look at the technical side. So just have a look at the typical Fibonacci analysis, and there is a high from the 29th of October 2020. It's directly at 11/21/1675, and there's a low from 28th of April 2021. That's the one at 9/89/9725. These two levels combined making a Fibonacci analysis possible, and the platform is giving you the typical retracement levels at 23.6, 38.2, 61.8 and 76.4. And actually these typical arrows I've been built here are possible moves. Let's have a first look at the upside. So the quotation, the big question is if there is something like a retest of that level of the 61.8 level at 1070s, so to be exactly at 1071. And there is a possible retest of that 38.2 level at the 1040s. Possibly. That's why there's the big questions and the big question marks here. The other way around, possibly a retest down to this level, the 23.6 is a 2088 level here. That's the 23.6 Fibonacci retracement, and a possible retest of that old low down here. It's a big question right from the fundamental side, and because of a couple of correlations and some important correlation. That's why we are speaking about that stuff at the fundamental part right now. Okay, let's speak about some fundamentals. One thing is absolutely clear. All we together, the whole community, the traders, investors, they don't have anything like glass bowls. So they don't know anything about the real future in the next weeks, months and years to come. All we can do is have some kind of economic projections, use them and try to anticipate a movement, price movement. So we do, for example, here with the currency pair of the euro versus the NOK. So if you have a look at the price of oil, and later on have a look at the chart of euro NOK, or even at US dollar versus the Canadian, you will see that a couple of currencies and currency pairs are correlating with the price of oil, or a little bit more correlating with the price of oil. So the weaker the oil price per barrel is, the weaker the Norwegian crown versus the euro and the Norwegian crown versus the US dollar is. So this is a typical move. And these kind of correlations sometimes make sense if you just put them on top of your research. So in case you may just scratch your head and say, what is this guy talking about oil and other things? Well, they have a very big impact right now, because energy prices and the price of oil and all the kind of derivatives, distillates, have a very high impact on inflation. And imagine suddenly right now, the price of oil is tumbling and is heading south. So only 1 or 2 or 3 months later on, that will be having an effect on inflation numbers. And the more the price of oil would be going down, the more comfy the situation of the Federal Reserve, the ECB or other central banks suddenly is. So imagine the price of oil is tanking about $5 to $10 a barrel. So you have less inflation pressure, and you possibly have less pressure from the side of the central banks to hike. So this is always something to put into your research and to anticipate into another direction, or possibly pushing that a little bit in time further down the road. So imagine we are speaking about inflation numbers going down. So we could see that the Federal Reserve is taking that kind of a hike, or the tapering, slowing down the tapering and going back with that Fed rate hikes really until the end of 2023. Really only one possible rate hike. You will see there's much change in the next month and 1.5 years to come. So nothing is already hammered in stone. There will be a lot of movement in the next weeks and months and years to come. So we have something like nothing but security here. The same thing could happen with the already hammered rate hikes from the Norges Bank, so the Central Bank of Norway. From the research stuff, from the kind of anticipation, a couple of boys out there think that the Norges Bank is about to hike possibly twice that year, starting with that in autumn, for example, and doing another rate hike in December. But in the end, if that kind of oil price, for example, is softening, heading south, after OPEC Plus is not decided to do anything, but being not 100% agreeing with all that stuff. So if there's something like a price war coming with oil, then a couple of currencies and even the Norwegian krone are heading south and going to be weaker. And that could mean that we will be seeing another move up in EUR/NOK in direction 1070, 1080, before we see something like a first impression from the first rate hike going back down in direction of 10. So this is only a vision. This is something like anticipating that kind of a movement with regarding oil prices on top of that. And you should do so as well. So nothing is hammered in stone right now. We got to see what is going on with these kind of the next 1 or 2 rate hikes, if they really are going to happen until the rest of the year. If they still speak out into the next 1 or 2 meetings, speak out that there will be hiking that, absolutely, then the first steps into a so-called carry trade movement is going to happen. So that would mean you have the chance out there to be part of that carry trade, a typical carry trade, the euro versus the NOK. Of course, the more comfy for you, the higher you step in, the best outcome will be. And you can simply leave your position out there and earn the swaps overnight, all the time. That's the idea behind it. Possibly this is going to be happening between 1050 and 1070. So we'll be seeing if that really happens until the rest of the next month, into September, into the end of the year. So just saying, that's just something like finding out some kind of additional research, checking out market comments, checking out some economic projections, checking out the unemployment conditions in Norway, checking out the rate of vaccinations, for example, and the possibilities of more opening of the economy in Norway. All that kind of stuff together. So just saying, just my opinion. That's it for now. I wish you a happy weekend, relax, and a prosperous week to come with a couple of good trades. Thank you very much, and don't forget to leave some thumbs up. Thank you. Bye-bye.